There are some things that you should know about women. In this video, we've compiled 10 weird psychological facts about women's behavior that might help you in the long run. It is not uncommon for men to strive to comprehend the workings of the female mind, as if remains on enigmatic realm full of undisclosed secrets. Number 1. 7-38-55. This statement refers to the commonly cited 7-38-55 rule of communication, which suggests that when people communicate face-to-face, the message they convey is broken down into 3 components: words, tone of voice, and body language. The percentages given, 7%, 38%, and 55%, refer to the relative importance of each component in conveying the intended message and influencing how the message is received. In terms of a man approaching a woman, this rule suggests the woman's initial impression of the man will be influenced more by his non-verbal cues, appearance, body language, than by what he says, words, or how he says it, the style of his speaking. This may be because non-verbal cues are often more difficult to fake or control than verbal cues, and may be providing more information about a person's personality, emotions, and intentions. However, it is important to note that these percentages are not set in stone and may vary depending on the individual and the situation. Additionally, it's important to avoid making broad generalizations about gender and communication, as each individual's experiences and preferences are unique. Number 2. Words in communication. It's not uncommon for normal, healthy adult women to experience sexual arousal through verbal communication and language. In fact, studies have shown that women tend to be more responsive to contextual and emotional factors when it comes to sexual arousal compared to men, who tend to be more visually stimulated. For women, the psychological aspects of sexual intimacy, such as intimacy, emotional connection, and feeling desired, can play a crucial role in triggering sexual arousal. The process of sexual arousal in women often begins in the brain with the interpretation of processing of sensory input. When a woman experiences positive emotional states such as desire, anticipation, or excitement, her brain releases chemicals such as dopamine and oxytocin, which can create pleasurable sensations throughout the body. These chemical signals can also stimulate blood flow to the genitals, causing physical signs of sexual arousal, such as vaginal lubrication and swelling. Verbal communication can play a particularly powerful role in female sexual arousal, as it can help create an emotional connection with a partner and enhance feelings of desire and anticipation. Words and communication can activate the imagination, allowing women to explore and indulge in their sexual fantasies, which can further stimulate the brain and body's sexual response. Number 3. Gray matter. Recent scientific research has revealed that there are significant differences in brain structure between males and females. One notable difference is that the female brain has a slightly smaller overall volume than the male brain. However, the female brain contains a greater amount of densely packed gray matter, which is responsible for processing information. This means that even though the male brain may be larger, the female brain actually contains more neurons, the fundamental building blocks of the brain. Additionally, females also have more white matter, which enables communication between different regions of the brain. This could explain why women are generally better at multitasking and communication. Scientists believe that these differences in brain structure allow women to process and absorb information more quickly than men, making them more efficient learners. It's important to note that while the differences have been observed in studies, they do not necessarily indicate that one gender is superior to the other. The human brain is an incredibly complex and diverse organ, and there's still so much to learn about how gender influences brain function and behavior. Number 4. Maybe the weirdest part. A woman is sexually aroused by the emotions evoked by shopping for red pants for herself, especially if she's accompanied by a man who can describe the features of these clothes in words. Number 5. Non-verbal. There is scientific evidence to suggest that women may have an advantage when it comes to reading body language and facial expressions compared to men. Research has shown that the women tend to be more skilled at interpreting non-verbal cues such as facial expressions, gestures, and tone of voice. One reason for this may be due to the differences in brain structure and function. The regions of the brain responsible for processing social and emotional information, such as the amygdala and the prefrontal cortex, have been found to be more active in women compared to men. Additionally, studies have shown that women tend to use both hemispheres of the brain when processing emotional information, whereas men tend to rely more heavily on the left hemisphere. Socialization and cultural factors may also play a role in shaping the ability of a woman to read the body language and facial expressions. From an early age, girls are often encouraged to be more socially aware and empathetic, whereas boys may be discouraged from showing emotions and vulnerability. While women may have an advantage when it comes to interpreting nonverbal cues, it's important to recognize that each individual has their own unique abilities and strengths. Furthermore, the ability to read body language and facial expressions can be improved with practice and training. Number 6. Humor me. Women enjoy finding humor in their lives and sharing funny stories with others. Humor can help us build social connections and foster feelings of trust and closeness in the relationship. Additionally, using humor can help diffuse tension in difficult situations and provide a positive outlet for stress. However, it is important to recognize that humor is a subjective experience, and what one person finds funny may not be the same for another person. Twitter, for example. Women, like all individuals, have their own unique sense of humor and may not necessarily find every situation or joke to be funny. In terms of skepticism, it's possible that some women may approach situations with a more analytical mindset and may not automatically assume that something's funny without evaluating it first. This may be related to gender socialization and cultural expectations around women's behavior and communication styles. Number 7. Intuition. There is scientific evidence to suggest that women may have an advantage when it comes to intuition and reading nonverbal cues compared to men. Research has shown that women tend to be more skilled at interpreting nonverbal cues such as facial expressions, gestures, and tone of voice. One reason for this may be due to differences in brain structure and function. The regions of the brain responsible for processing social and emotional information, such as the amygdala and the prefrontal cortex, have been found to be more active in women compared to men. Additionally, studies have shown that women tend to use both hemispheres of the brain when processing emotional information, whereas men tend to rely more heavily on the left hemisphere. Socialization and cultural factors may also play a role in shaping women's ability to read nonverbal cues. From an early age, girls are often encouraged to be more socially aware and empathetic, whereas boys may be discouraged from showing emotions and vulnerability. While the term women's intuition may have mystical connotations, it's important to recognize that the ability to read nonverbal cues and interpret social situations is a learned skill that can be improved with practice and training. Additionally, it's important to avoid making broad generalizations about gender and intuition, as each individual's experiences and abilities are unique. Number 8. 68% of the women. Even though it's important to approach statistics like this one with caution, as surveys on sensitive topics like infidelity are often subject to bias and may not reflect the experiences and attitudes of the general population. That being said, if we take this statistic at face value, it suggests that a significant percentage of women may be dissatisfied or unfulfilled in their current relationships and may be open to the possibility of seeking intimacy or emotional connection outside of their primary partnership. This could be due to a variety of factors, such as a lack of communication, intimacy, or emotional connection with their partner, feelings of boredom or monotony in their relationship, and a desire for excitement or novelty. It is also important to note that while some women may consider having an affair, many may ultimately choose not to act on these thoughts due to concerns about the potential consequences, such as damage to their relationship, social stigma, or personal guilt or shame. Ultimately, the decision to engage in infidelity is a complex and individual one that depends on a variety of personal and situational factors. It is important for individuals in committed relationships to communicate openly and honestly with their partners, to work to maintain intimacy and emotional connection, and to seek support and guidance if they're experiencing dissatisfaction or distress in their relationship. Number 9. Depression. Women are more likely than men to experience depression. While the exact reasons for this gender difference are not fully understood, researchers have suggested a number of potential factors, including biological differences in brain chemistry and hormone levels, as well as social and environmental factors such as gender-based discrimination, societal pressure to conform to traditional gender roles, and the stress of balancing work and family responsibilities. One potential factor that may contribute to women's vulnerability to depression is their tendency to blame themselves for negative experiences and emotions. This is sometimes referred to as rumination, or the tendency to dwell on negative thoughts and feelings, and can lead to feelings of hopelessness, helplessness, and worthlessness that are characteristics of depression. Well, research has suggested that the female brain may be more sensitive to emotional stimuli and may process emotional information differently than the male brain. Specifically, studies have found that the female brain tends to activate more strongly in response to negative emotional stimuli, such as images or words that evoke fear, sadness, or anxiety. While depression can be a serious and debilitating condition, it's important to remember that it is also highly treatable with a combination of therapy, medication, and lifestyle changes. Anyone experiencing symptoms of depression, such as persistent feelings of sadness or hopelessness, loss of intent in activities they used to enjoy, changes in appetite or sleep patterns, or difficulty concentrating, should seek help from a mental health professional. Number 10. Wild and free. A woman may be sexually aroused by men who give them a sense of freedom and wildness. This may be related to the idea of sexual liberation or exploration, which can be exciting and empowering for some individuals. This arousal may be linked to a desire to break free from societal norms or expectations that may limit women's sexual expression or agency. A man who is able to create a safe and consensual space for a woman to explore her desires and fantasies may be seen as attractive or arousing to some women. So, that's it. Subscribe for more amazing content.